Are you ready to see the strangest and most mysterious events caught in Russia? From fire falling from the sky, to frozen beasts rising from the ice, from eerie lights to creatures that defy nature, this video will take you beyond belief. Stay till the end, because every story will leave you questioning what's real and what's not. Number 1. Fire from the sky. It started with a flash so bright that the entire sky turned white. People in Russia ran outside thinking a bomb had gone off. Windows shattered, walls cracked, and chaos filled the streets. But this wasn't an attack. It was something from space, a meteor around 20 meters wide tearing through Earth's atmosphere. The blast was so powerful that it injured hundreds and left the city trembling. Scientists later discovered fragments buried in the snow, pieces of a visitor from deep space. This was the Chelyabinsk meteor, the most powerful explosion since the Tunguska event of the 1900s. Months later, divers pulled out a half-ton chunk of the meteor from a lake 65 feet below, proving once again that the universe can surprise us when we least expect it. Number 2. The hairy sea monster. It washed up silently on a cold beach, a giant creature with no eyes, no head, and no bones. People who found it couldn't believe their eyes. The thing was 3 times the size of a man and smelled of decay. Its dirty, chalk-colored skin was covered in strange, hair-like fibers, with long tentacles trailing from its body. Some said it was a woolly mammoth freed from melting ice beneath the ocean. Others thought it was a gigantic sea creature no one had ever seen before. Scientists called it a globster, but even they couldn't explain the fur or texture. Whatever it was, that monster left behind a mystery that still creeps along the shorelines of the world. Number 3. Doorway to the Underworld. Deep in Siberia, the Earth is literally opening up. Locals call it the doorway to the Underworld, a massive crater that's growing every single year. The most shocking part? It's alive. This giant hole keeps expanding, uncovering ancient forests and frozen animal remains that were trapped for thousands of years. Measuring 282 meters deep and nearly a mile long, this crater is changing faster than anyone expected. Scientists say it's a warning from nature, proof that the ground beneath us is heating and collapsing as the ice melts. But for those who live nearby, it's more than science. It's a terrifying reminder that something beneath the Earth might finally be waking up. Number 4. The frozen giant returns. Once upon a freezing day in Siberia, explorers stumbled upon something extraordinary: the body of a woolly mammoth frozen in time. Its massive tusks and bones were buried beneath layers of ice for more than 23,000 years. Long ago, Siberia was home to herds of these giants, roaming vast green plains. Now, it's a frozen graveyard, hiding thousands of prehistoric creatures. This particular discovery was so well preserved that scientists could study its 99-inch tusk and even traces of its fur. As the ice continues to melt, researchers believe more of these ancient beasts will rise again, creatures from the Ice Age returning to remind us of a world long forgotten. Number 5. The locust nightmare. You might want to hold your breath for this one, because what happened in Russia looked straight out of an apocalyptic movie. The sky turned dark, not because of clouds, but because of locusts. Millions of them. They swarmed over cities and farmlands, devouring everything in their path. Farmers panicked as entire fields vanished within hours, leaving behind nothing but dust and broken hopes. Nets, sprays, and smoke, nothing could stop this flying army. Even though authorities had already sprayed insecticides, the locusts moved like a living storm. By the time it ended, acres of crops were gone, and the silence that followed was almost as terrifying as the buzzing that came before. Number 6. The mystery rings in the sky. Now this one will make your mind spin. One morning, people in Russia looked up and froze. A giant, dark ring was floating in the sky. It grew larger, forming a perfect smoky circle that drifted through the clouds like something out of a sci-fi film. Fear spread quickly. Some thought it was a sign of the end of the world, while others were sure it was alien activity. But when scientists studied the strange ring, they found a more earthly cause. It was actually a smoke vortex, possibly created by an explosion or a blast from a factory smokestack. Still, for those who saw it with their own eyes, that eerie black halo in the sky remains one of the strangest sights ever recorded. Number 7. The frozen giant, Yucca the mammoth. What if I told you a creature frozen for 3,900 years was found with flowing blood still inside? That's exactly what happened in Siberia. A team of tusk hunters stumbled upon the body of a young woolly mammoth, later named Yucca. When scientists examined it, they were stunned. Despite being dead for thousands of years, its body was perfectly preserved. Skin, fur, tongue, even brain tissue. It looked like time had simply paused for this prehistoric creature. But its broken leg and deep wounds hinted at a violent struggle before death, maybe a fight with a predator or a tragic fall into icy waters. Yucca wasn't just a fossil. It was a frozen time capsule from an ancient world. Number 8. The frozen lion cub. Here's one discovery that'll melt your heart and chill your spine at the same time. In Siberia, scientists found the perfectly preserved body of a lion cub, 28,000 years old. They named it Yuan. What's wild is that its tiny body, fur, and whiskers were almost untouched by time. Experts believe the cub was trapped in a sudden landslide just days after birth. Its stomach was empty, meaning it hadn't even had its first meal. Researchers say its DNA might help bring back the long-lost cave lions that once ruled the Ice Age. But looking at that innocent little face, frozen forever in time, you can't help but feel a quiet sadness. Number 9. Lovers of the Bronze Age. They were buried side by side, holding each other as if even death couldn't part them. In 2017, archaeologists unearthed the grave that left everyone speechless. It contained the remains of a man and woman locked in an eternal embrace, dating back more than 4,300 years to the Bronze Age. But this love story had a chilling twist. Next to them lay the tiny skeleton of a baby. And even stranger, the man's skull showed signs of burning from the inside, as if fire or hot coal had been placed within. Was it a ritual, a sacrifice, or some ancient farewell to the dead? Whatever it was, this haunting burial tells a story that love and mystery truly never die. Number 10. The creepy meat jelly. You're not ready for this one. Meet holodets, the jelly that'll make you think twice before eating dessert again. In Russia, people love this dish, but outsiders usually call it horrifying. Here's how it's made. Pig's feet are boiled for hours until the soup turns thick and sticky. Then chunks of meat, vegetables, or even seafood are dropped in. Once cooled, it turns into a jelly, a cold, shiny block of meat trapped inside a wobbly gel. Russians enjoy it as a festive delicacy, but honestly, just watching it wiggle on a plate is enough to make your stomach turn. Still, for them, it's not gross, it's gourmet. Number 11. The candy made of blood. If you think meat jelly was weird, this one's going to make you stare at your chocolate bar differently. During the Soviet era, Russia made a candy called hematogen. It looked like a chocolate bar and tasted sweet, but there was a catch. It was made using cow's blood. Yup, real blood. The idea was to help people with anemia and malnutrition, especially children. It contained milk, sugar, vanilla, and about 5% black albumin, a processed form of cow blood. So technically, it wasn't just a treat, it was medicine. Even today, Russians still eat it. And while it might sound like a vampire's favorite snack, they swear it works wonders for your health. Number 12. The underwater spy. Now this one feels straight out of a spy movie. In Norway, fishermen spotted a beluga whale behaving strangely. It was swimming toward their boats, rubbing against them like it needed help. When one brave fisherman jumped into the freezing water, he discovered something shocking. The whale was wearing a tight harness. Attached to it was a small camera and a clip with Russian writing. Turns out, this wasn't just any whale, it was a trained spy. Experts later confirmed that Russia has programs where they train dolphins, seals, and even whales for military missions. So yes, somewhere out there, a beluga might still be on a secret mission, silently watching beneath the waves. Number 13. The living cloud of birds. At first glance, it looks like a black storm in the sky. But look closer, and you'll see thousands of tiny wings moving together. This stunning sight is called a starling murmuration, a natural performance that takes place in Russia's skies. The birds twist and swirl in perfect harmony, forming giant shapes that shift like smoke. Scientists say they do this to confuse predators and stay warm in the cold. But to anyone watching from the ground, it feels magical, like the sky itself is alive and breathing. It's one of nature's most beautiful mysteries, where chaos turns into pure, perfect rhythm. Number 14. Russian superstitions. In Russia, superstitions are taken seriously, really seriously. For example, if a black cat crosses your path, don't panic. It's just on its way somewhere. It doesn't mean bad luck. Russians have dozens of traditions that they follow for good fortune. Finding a flower with 5 or more petals? Eat it, and your wish might come true. Before going on a trip, it's considered lucky to sit quietly for a minute before leaving the house. And if someone accidentally steps on your foot, you must step back on theirs, or you'll argue for life. Strange or not, these little rituals show how deeply Russians believe that fate, luck, and life are all connected in mysterious ways. Number 15. The Russian human steamer. Would you pay to be steamed like a dumpling and hit with tree branches? Sounds painful, right? But in Russia, that's actually a luxury. It's called the banya, an ancient steam sauna where people willingly roast themselves in scorching heat. Picture a wood-fired room filled with thick clouds of steam, people sitting half-naked, sweating like waterfalls, and then suddenly, whap! Someone starts beating your back with leafy birch branches. Weird? Maybe. But Russians swear by it. They say it relaxes muscles, cleanses the body, and even heals the soul. Friends, families, and even co-workers gather here to sweat out their stress. So if you ever visit Russia and someone invites you to a banya, don't be scared. You're not on the menu. Number 16. The angel beneath the sea. We always hear about angels flying in the sky, but have you ever seen one swimming underwater? Divers in the icy seas of Russia couldn't believe their eyes when a glowing, winged creature floated past them. It was called a sea angel, or scientifically, Clyona lamacina. This translucent being fluttered its wing-like fins so gracefully it looked like a real fairy from another world. Under the sunlight filtering through the ice, it shimmered with colors, part fish, part dream. Scientists say it's a type of sea slug that survives in freezing Arctic waters. But one look at it, and you'll know why people call it an angel, because no earthly creature moves that beautifully. Number 17. The Flying Girl. This next story will make your heart skip a beat. A man in Russia was walking his dog through the woods when suddenly his pet started barking like crazy. It ran ahead, leading him towards something strange. As the man followed, his blood froze. There, in the distance, was a young girl floating in the air. Yes, floating! Her mother stood nearby, watching calmly, as if this was perfectly normal. When the woman noticed the man filming, she quickly grabbed her daughter and the two disappeared into the trees. The man was too shocked to follow. The blurry video spread online, leaving everyone wondering, was it a trick? Or did that forest hide something far more supernatural? Number 19. The lights that fell from heaven. One winter night, the sky above Russia looked like it was on fire. Dozens of glowing, vertical beams of red, blue, and gold stretched from the ground into the heavens, like light pillars touching the stars. Residents rushed outside, thinking it was a meteor shower or a secret experiment. But scientists explained it was a natural phenomenon called light pillars, formed when ice crystals in the air reflect lights from the ground, from the moon, street lamps, or even headlights. Still, for those who saw it, the night felt magical, as if the sky had opened its gates for a brief, glowing moment. Number 20. The tiger and the goat. A tiger's meal turning into its best friend? Sounds impossible, but it really happened in Russia. A goat named Timur was sent to a zoo as live food for a massive tiger named Amur. Everyone expected the worst, but what happened next shocked the world. Instead of attacking, the tiger looked at the goat and decided to be friends. They slept side by side, shared food, and even played together. The tiger taught Timur how to chase prey, and the goat, fearless as ever, head-butted him back in fun. Their strange friendship became a global symbol of peace, proof that even in the wildest hearts, kindness can still exist. The world is full of mysteries, but Russia takes it to another level. Which story shocked you the most? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more strange and unexplained stories.